There's a famous midrash brought down by Rashi at the beginning of this week's Parsha, as Yaakov is on the run. He's running away from his brother Esav, and he stops to rest. He takes the stones that are in that place and gathers them, placing them under his head as a pillow in order to rest for the night. And Rashi shares from the midrash that the stones in the middle of the night began fighting with one another. Each stone said, Allah yaniach hatzadik es rosho, the tzaddik, the righteous man, should lay on me. Presumably Yaakov's head was resting on just one of the stones. The other stone said, I want the head under me. In the course of the night, they fused together, became one, and Yaakov wakes up with just one stone there. And I've always wondered what exactly is the lesson that this midrash is teaching us. Children in Jewish schools throughout the world are taught this midrash. And what are we teaching them? It seems that we're taught that when you don't get what you want, and you see that someone else has it, so you whine, you complain, you fight, and eventually you'll get what you want. Of course, that couldn't be the message. So what exactly is this midrash trying to teach us? And I came across the Elia Rabbah in his commentary on Shulchan Aruch, totally different context, which I think provides an insight to this midrash. And the Elia Rabbah is discussing the laws of the talus, tzitzis, and the discussion about whether the tzitzis, the talus, needs to have a designated top. The top of the talus, the part that would go over one's head, is considered the holiest part of the talus. And there's a halacha, there's a law of ma'alin b'kedusha v'yein moridin. We should only increase in sanctity and never decrease. And the question is, do you always consistently need to use the same top of the talus? Now today, I don't think I've ever seen a talus that doesn't have the top marked off. But in their time, some taluses were marked, some may not have been. And the question was, do you need to mark the top of your talus? Or can you just grab it any way you'd like and switch off what will be the top, what will be the bottom, despite the fact that you're giving increased sanctity to different parts of the garment? And the Elia Rabbah quotes this midrash to answer the question. And he points out that even when the stones fused together, they became one. Whichever stone molecules didn't have Yaakov's head on them, those stones still don't have Yaakov's head. The stone that initially had Yaakov's head, at the end of the day, when they all fuse together, those molecules still have Yaakov's head, and the other ones still don't. So the Elia Rabbah explains what the stones learned from that episode is that once they become one, it no longer matters who has Yaakov's head. Once you realize that you are connected to the stone that has Yaakov's head on it, so you may be a few feet over to the east or the west, but you're part of it. And as long as you're part of it, it's all one. Each stone can be satisfied of having Yaakov's head resting on them. The same is true for the talus. It doesn't matter what's the top, what's the bottom. One part's holier, one part's less holy. The whole talus is one. I'm sure whichever part of the talus is complaining, it doesn't have, the atara isn't over the head, it'll be satisfied, it's connected, it's all one. And I believe that's the message of this midrash, that it's a lesson of unity. In Judaism, we don't believe that achdus, that becoming one, means that everyone needs to be the same. In fact, everyone can be different. People can have different things, people can have different interests. In Judaism, once we realize that we're one, we realize that those things don't matter. We realize that if we can view the Jewish nation, if we can view our communities as one, united, we can get over our differences. We can understand this one may have the tzaddik, the righteous one laying on him, this one may not. It's okay. It's okay that different people have different things. As long as we're united, as long as we come together, we can learn the lesson of this week's Parsha, learn the lesson of achdus, of unity, that Rashi is trying to teach us, and take this with us throughout our lives, throughout our community, and hopefully throughout the Jewish nation. As always, I wish you all a wonderful Shabbos.